Hey guys, this is Tim Charles from NeObluminati and you're watching Metal Wani.
Hi guys, I'm Carl O'Rourke from Metal Wani and I'm here in Dublin's Voodoo Lounge with Aussie rocker Tim Charles of NeObluminati, who played their first show in Ireland this evening. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me.
So it's been a pretty hectic couple of years for Neo, with extensive touring and establishing a pretty unique relationship with your fans, which we'll talk about a little later. 2016 has been a year that's included a few firsts for the band, with certain new shows in the US and tonight in Dublin, for example. Tell us a bit about how your headline tour has been going so far and how these firsts came to be this time around.
Yeah, everything's been going amazing. It's always exciting to get to places you haven't been before, and also to get a chance to headline in places that you haven't had a chance to headline, because it's definitely quite different, you know, having, I guess, the reality of, you know, people coming or not coming for your show, instead of just going, oh, we're playing with this big band and there's going to be hundreds of people there no matter what, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's been great. The responses all throughout the UK on these headline shows have been really great, and it's fantastic to be here in Ireland, in Dublin, for the first time ever. And you know, one of those things where originally we had the offer to do the month-long tour with Enslaved, and then we had an offer to do Euroblast in Germany, which was a couple of weeks before that. And so our agent basically had the idea of you know, adding in you know, a headline tour through the UK and Scandinavia and stuff like that, which has allowed us to you know, end up doing like it's going to be a 7-week tour. So we're definitely pretty busy, but yeah, it's been lots of fun so far.
Excellent. We were actually introduced to NeObluminati for the first time last year in London when you guys supported Cradle of Filth in the Coco Theatre. Sure. And we were blown away and came back and told everyone and their mothers, we swear, not only were we taken back by the live show, but also by the balance you strike with your music, where it's not only as just crushing, but it's also lovely and beautiful and unique in its own way. So it's very diverse and has something everyone can enjoy. I'm just curious as to how the band created this balance. We were talking to Oceans of Slumber outside because they do something similar, and they said it came very naturally for them. We're just wondering, was it the same maybe for you guys?
Sure. I mean, we never really thought about it too much, except that we always tried to, you know, break down barriers in our writing. So we always were very open-minded and accepting of any idea that we thought was good musically, which meant that if someone had some out there idea, you know, we took it as a challenge to try and incorporate it within our music if we liked it, regardless of what genre or style, whether it was, you know, jazz influence or flamenco or whatever. Like it didn't really matter. And so I guess a lot of bands put their sound in a box, and after a couple of albums they feel like that's their box that they have to write in, and if they do anything else their fans will revolt, or maybe they'll risk their whole career or whatever. Where we kind of felt that our first album, Port of Light, was so diverse that it enabled us to keep pushing the envelope on Citadel, and that was a little bit different. Again, you know, we kind of felt we pushed it to be a little bit heavier, a little bit more extreme, but also more prog and more melodic, and that was received even better. So now with the third album on the horizon, we've kind of like, well, we don't really care what other people think or expect from us. We kind of feel like we can just do whatever we want, and as long as it's good, people will like it, which is an exciting place to be, because it means we have that freedom in the way that we write.
Sure. So, just talking on your music, it's not every day a band has their music made part of a college curriculum. Sure. Can you tell us how this came to be and just what that feels like exactly from the point of view of the artist, Jude?
Sure. Well, I mean, what basically happened with that was the professor and the head of composition at Sydney Conservatorium of Music had discovered us somehow and came along to one of our shows in Sydney and introduced himself, and which was really cool, especially for me. I actually used to study violin when I was at the end of my high school years with a violin teacher called Gertz Richter, who's the head of strings at Sydney Conservatorium. And that was where I was going to go study violin, but my family moved to Melbourne, so I ended up going to university down there instead. But I know what classical conservatoriums are like, and I know that a lot of them are pretty close-minded to things like heavy metal. So it was really cool that someone like that was appreciating what we were doing, and he basically hit us up and said he had this, basically an assignment that he wanted to do for for his composition class, and they had to do like an analysis of different compositions, and they had like a few things to choose from, and one of them was our song "And Plague Flowers, a Kaleidoscope," which was kind of cool because some of the other things were like this Beethoven thing. Yeah. You know, so so that was exciting. I mean, it seems a little bit ridiculous almost because those composers are doing amazing things, but it's nice that we're considered to be doing something different enough to be worth studying.
So I understand that when Zen started the band back in the beginning of 2003, I was just wondering, was it always his vision to have an interplay of clean and heavy vocals with violin resting on top? Or was it just a change in lineup and time that saw the band become what we know now?
A bit of both. So basically, the original lineup had a female classical soprano.
So I understand, I just wasn't entirely sure whether that was exactly.
Yeah, and so I didn't sing, so I was just the violinist. And then after about 6 months, Sherry, a female singer, left the band, and we auditioned a few people, and we couldn't find anyone. And then after a while, I kind of said, "Hey, I can sing a little bit." And back then, I was nowhere near as good as I am now, and we just incorporated the clean vocals a little bit and not in every song. And then basically as I became a better singer, and also as our music took a little bit of a more progressive and melodic direction, it gave us more opportunities to include the clean vocals. And yeah, so basically really Zen's original vision of the band when it first started was really this classical influenced black metal band. And really, I don't think we really have any classical influence in the band. I know there's a violin, but the way I play is really very, very little in common with classical violin playing. And it's much more influenced from jazz or from metal guitar playing in the way that I play the violin, as opposed to from classical music. So, and we're definitely not as black metal as we were back in those very, very early days. So I think it's quite different, but it's just one of those natural things that in the first 3 years of the band, the lineup changed quite a lot. And as the lineup changed, we got different people in over those first 3 years. We started to find our sound, and this is where we ended up.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about the new NeObluminati, which has a huge significance in the band. This setup has seen the band break world records, fund entire tours, and establish a very unique relationship with your fans. And I understand it was inspired by CJ Sykes leaving Die Hard's Murder over financial reasons at the time, or partially even. I was just wondering, for those who may not be familiar with it, can you tell us a little about what it is and some more on what you managed to achieve with it to date?
Sure. Basically, what we've done is we set up a membership system for fans where they sign up and can pay from $1 up to a couple $100 a month to be part of the NeObluminati. And for that, we do a whole bunch of different things. So, like for example, on like the $5 a month level, we do behind the scenes videos and tour diaries, and we have exclusive merchandise ranges for fans, and we do tutorials. So for example, just last week I posted up a vocal tutorial going through warm-up techniques and talking about conditioning for voices on the road and all that sort of stuff. And we do one of them. We try to do one every month as much as we can. We do like monthly interviews where the members get to ask one of the members all the questions, and so then we'll do like a video interview and lots of other things. On the higher levels there's like VIP meet and greet, and we have a handful of people paying $250 a month when we had a few people in the US doing that, and we'd meet them at the show and we'd take them out to dinner, and they'd basically spend the whole day hanging out with us when we're on. Okay, so another thing we do is tutorials every month, and I did a vocal tutorial just a couple weeks ago talking about vocal health and the different things that Zen and I do on the road to keep our voice in good condition, and warm-up techniques and all that sort of stuff. But basically the whole premise came from the reality that like a lot of people aren't really aware that most of the bands that everyone likes are all broke. Like it's like literally like maybe like the bands who are big headliners pulling 1,000 people a night, like they're making money, but that's really it. Like the small bands, everyone kind of might pick up that they're not making money, but most of the bands that aren't the big headliners are all losing money or breaking even or making less than they would down at McDonald's, you know. And a lot of people just aren't aware of that, and so basically, you know, we just came to our fans and just were honest about the reality with how things are for our band. And you know, that we wanted to do this full time, and we wanted to be able to keep doing this, but we'd all been fired from our day jobs, and some of us have kids and stuff like that home, so like we have to be able to make money or else we can't do the band. And so it's that thing where a lot of bands, especially from Australia, because it's very expensive to come from Australia to tour places like Ireland or Europe or really anywhere. You know, it just puts us in a position where, you know, we were losing so much money that we needed to find a way that could consistently, you know, enable us to keep going. And we pitched this to our fans, and it's been going really, really well. And we've got about, you know, almost 10,000 Australian a month, which is maybe about what, seven or 8,000 euros every month we get from our fans for that, and we try to do as much for them as we can, and that basically enables us to get paid. At the moment, we all get paid basically a part-time wage, mainly from that through Patreon. And you know, we've been doing this band for 13 years, and we've never been paid at all $1 until 6 months ago when we started this. And now we're earning a part-time living, and we hope to take it up to a full-time living so we can just do this and come back to Ireland as much as possible.
Oh, we love that.
We love you guys.
So from the initial success of Portal and I to the follow-up success of Citadel 2 years ago, one has to ask if we might be able to get a little insight as to when we can expect a new record for you guys, and if there's anything currently on the cards, what might fans expect in regards to songwriting and musical direction?
Yes, we actually were jamming a new song at Soundcheck today. Not quite ready to play tonight, but but it's something that we're, you know, like we've been working on for a while. We've got, you know, we've already got like 4 or 5 songs in the works, so we've probably got like too much. I mean, our last album said it was only really 3 songs. So we've got a lot of stuff in the works, and at the moment we're aiming to maybe record early next year, hopefully for maybe mid next year release, but you know, no guarantees. As far as how the music is sounding, I mean, it's just a progression from Citadel. I mean, in the same way that Portal of I was, you know, its own thing, and Citadel was its own thing. I mean, the next album will be a little bit different, but at the same time, it'll be what people come to expect. And I think what people expect now, after a couple albums from NeObluminati, is that it will be a bit different album to album. And so I think there'll be stuff in there that people haven't heard before from us, and there'll be stuff that people will recognize as why they like us. And you know, but in the end, we don't really care. We just try to write for ourselves, and you know, if we love it, we're confident that it'll find an audience to enjoy it.
Excellent. So thank you, Tim, for joining us here today at Metal Wani. Have a great show this evening. We wish you all the best for the rest of your tour.
Thank you, guys.